Hey guys, I have a nice domain I found in the IT space and thinking of doing a rank and rent setup for businesses on IT services. What model do you think would work best? Flat rate to a provider or monthly retainer or percentage of sale? Percentage of sale is my favorite, but that requires a whole lot of additional kind of infrastructure because you have to have, first of all, a trusting relationship. You have to also be able to verify whether they actually made a sale or not. So I do that with my own lead gen business, guys. Revenue share is what I call that. That's my favorite way to monetize lead gen assets with tree service contractors. But there are a lot of drawbacks with revenue share that you have to be aware of. And I don't have enough time to get into all of them now because we're already way over, and I'm going to try to get through the rest of these questions. But what I would say is start with just a rank and rent model up front. If you're just getting started, guys, start with rank and rent because it's the easiest thing to manage. You just charge a flat monthly fee to rent the assets to whoever their service provider is. Okay. Once you get a little bit more advanced, then pay per lead is a way that you can do it. If you have proper tracking in place and all that kind of stuff, you can do pay per lead. Generally, you can generate more revenue from it than you can on a rank and rent model that way. Plus, it's more incentive for you to generate more leads. But a revenue share model is my favorite. But remember, with revenue share model, you also have to make sure that the company that you're doing a revenue share model with is able to close sales. Because if you're charging a flat monthly fee for rank and rent, then it doesn't matter whether they close the sale or not. Your job is just to keep the properties ranked so that they're generating leads, no matter how many leads they generate and whether the company can close them or not, it doesn't matter. Your job is just to keep those properties ranked. With pay per lead, your job is to generate the phone call or the form submission. That's it. Your job is not to close the sale. As soon as that call is generated or that form has been submitted, you've got a billable lead. That the contractor or the company, they can have a shit sales process and no follow-up whatsoever, and they can close absolutely 0% of the leads that you send to them. And then what are they going to do? They're going to complain and tell you that your leads suck. Is it your leads, or is it that they have a shitty follow-up system and no follow-up system and a shitty salesperson? It's probably the latter, right? It's probably that they have no follow-up system and a shitty salesperson. And therefore you generate the lead, but they complain because they say that you got shitty leads when it's just that they have shitty processes. Do you understand? So, with pay per lead, it doesn't really matter whether they close or not because you have a billable lead once you've generated the lead, the phone call or form fill. But with revenue share, so I'm just letting you know, be aware that you will, if they don't have a good process for closing sales, for following up and in closing sales, then you will probably try. How do I know this? Because I've dealt with tree contractors for years and that's what they'll do. But on the revenue share model, you got to be careful because now you're only getting paid when they close a sale. So if you're going to do revenue share model, you better get involved with their follow-up and sales process to make sure that they have a good system in place. Because otherwise you're killing yourself because if you're sending leads to a company that has a shitty follow-up and or no follow-up system or a poor follow-up system and poor closing rates, then you're not getting paid even though you're doing your job, which is to generate the lead. Do you understand? So if you're going to do revenue share model, it's in your best interest to make sure that you get involved with their nurturing, follow-up sequences and their sales team to make sure that they can close all that stuff and help them so become a business advisor instead of just a lead generator. You understand? And that's what I do with my tree service contractors that I do revenue share with. I force them to use high level, the sub account. I create a sub account in high level. I call it my tree management app, tree lead management. And I force them to use that. And I force them to subscribe too. I only charge them $100 a month, but I charge them $100 a month to use my app, which is just high level. It's a sub account that I created with the snapshots specifically for tree service contractors. I charge them $100 a month and force them to use that if we're going to be on a revenue share model. That way, every single lead that comes through is tracked. And there's automated follow-ups through the high level app with automated appointment reminders. So estimate and job schedule job reminders to the customer. It automatically reminds the contractor of when jobs are coming up or scheduled estimates are coming, all of that. So there's ways to do revenue share model, but remember, you have to be involved with the company and make sure that they have a good follow-up and sales process, or else you're leaving a lot of money on the table. Okay.